We have a really auspicious new moon that's happening in Taurus in Vedic astrology in the lunar mansion of Rohini, where it's very growth oriented and super powerful. This is a time where we're going to be able to plant the seeds for the fulfillment of our desires. But I want to help you to do that in a way that's right and true for you and is very grounded. We've come to the other side of the eclipse pattern. How are you feeling? I'd love to hear that down below. That was a heck of a ride, and we're in a Mercury retrograde, but we're coming to the other side of things, and it's time to get clear about what we're creating next. Hi, I'm Prema Gurreri, Vedic astrologer and business oracle, and welcome to Chart Your Path. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any of my videos. I put out videos weekly. If you haven't taken the Sacred Wealth Code Oracle quiz yet to find out one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes and your highest value gifts, the link is down below, as well as the free aligned power from the inside out activation and all the links to my readings and such. So this powerful new moon is again in the constellation of Taurus. It is going to be on the 30th of May at 3:30 a.m. Pacific time. I'm in Pacific time, and in the nakshatra of Rohini. Now let's remember what new moons are all about. This is the beginning of a new lunar cycle. It's like hitting the reset button. It's a whole new cycle of life that begins, and it's a fresh energy that emerges for you over the next 29 and a half days. Now it's happening, Taurus rules a specific house in your chart. I'm speaking generally as I'm not reading your chart right now. And the days surrounding the new moon can be pretty emotional, just like the full moon can be pretty emotional, but the new moon pulls us inward. It's an inner reflection period of time. Sometimes we're looking at the past things that we're cleaning up. Sometimes it's just a reconnection with our feelings. We've been out so much, it's time to come back in. And it is a time where we're going to plant the seeds for what we are intentionally creating, manifesting next over the next 29 and a half days. Now, with it being in Taurus, of course, is ruled by the bull because it's grounded, it's stable, it's about security, it's also about beauty and the arts and luxury as well. But in this part of the zodiac, the sole intention is to build things that are long lasting. So that there's a longevity to things. Now, at the same time, the shadow side of that is being stuck or being stubborn. But this brings the focus to, again, beauty, and the overarching intention here is harmony through all of our being and all of that we create. It's auspicious, it's exalted here because the moon spends more time in this lunar mansion of Rohini than it does in any of the other 26 lunar mansions. It's fecund, it's about growth. It is, that's why it's so auspicious. It's like this is the best time to plant your seeds when the moon is here. So this is a beautiful thing. Now, there's another energy here that's bringing in an overall energy of an interest in building things that last, that actually serve humanity. The ruling deity here is Brahma, the creator of the universe. Again, this creation energy. And with each nakshatra, there is an underlying intention. It's either spiritual, it's purpose, it's relationships or fulfillment of desires or wealth. And this one is moksha. So it's spiritual liberation is the underlying current, the soul desire. So you want to keep that in mind when it comes to what it is that you're going to plant the seeds around. Is it actually going to give you that spiritual liberation? Is it going to actually make you content, or is it going to make your life more complicated? The symbol here is a banyan tree that provides protection, provides like shade, protection for humanity. So again, that's that underlying humanitarian energy here. Taurus has a lot to do with sort of, luxury, wealth, beauty, but it's the fulfillment of our desires. Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so the fulfillment of our desires and our earthly desires in particular. So we have to really weigh whatever it is you're going to plant the seeds of and you want to be able to really drop into your heart. In fact, I'll do a few questions at the soul questions. So stay with me. And at the end here, I'll do a few soul questions so you can drop in and really find out what's on your heart for this new moon. You want to make sure that whatever it is that you're intending to create or to call in, you're doing it for the right reasons. Is it going to bring you some level of peace and contentment and joy? These are heart, soul desires. Or is it going to complicate your life? Is it going to cost you more energy than it's worth? Sometimes something looks really shiny and bright, and then you realize you get it, and it's like, I didn't even really want that. So you always want to weigh whatever it is that you are planting the seeds of against what it is, what your purpose is, what your true soul desire is, and does it serve that, or is it going to take too much energy away from that? Look, everything you own, everything you have, everything you create, you are energetically financing at some level, and we only have so much we can finance as far as energetic currency goes, especially on the material plane, because that's where we experience limitations. We don't experience limitations on the energetic plane. So you want to make sure whatever you're bringing in doesn't take you away from being present in the moment. If something is taking you, it's away from being present, from your life, from things that really matter, it is distracting and it is not an alignment, and it will not bring you that sense of joy or peace or contentment at some level. So desires are fine. They expand the universe. They're a problem when they pull us out of our life, out of our purpose, out of our path, out of the present moment. So we have to really be careful about that. So you want to create things that are really actually in alignment. So let's tune into, actually, one more thing first. I'm going to tune into some soul questions here, but I want to bring in one other piece here. Now, Venus rules Taurus, and Venus in Vedic astrology, this is Vedic astrology, the sidereal zodiac, the true placement of the planets. Venus is currently in Aries and will be there till June 18th, and it's with Rahu, the magician. So we have the great connector in the Sacred Wealth Code system, and it is in Aries, which is all fiery and starting something new and pioneering, and it is also with the magician, with Rahu. Now, that makes a very creative connector. We're going to have a desire in relationships, and I'm going to talk about that more in the June update, which will come out right at the beginning of June, so stay tuned for that. But our desires for what we create can be a little pumped up right now and can be maybe a little bit distorted. And that's why I'm taking the time to really bring us back home on making sure that the seeds that you're planting around fulfilling your desires are truly in alignment and are grounded in what's right and true for you. And just on a last note on the Venus with Rahu right now, with the magician, is just, it can be very creative for relationships, but it can bring in drama. It can distort relationships and what love is really about. So make sure you're staying very centered and grounded around relationships. Mercury is still in retrograde, and it will be to June 3rd. And it is where the new moon is happening in Taurus. And so, our communication around our desires could also be a little bit wonky there. So it's a good time to also be clear about what are you intending around your communications around the things that you desire. And the main key there is, and I talked about Mercury retrograde in my last update, is to really take your time, listen more. And that's true for your own soul. Like, listen more to yourself and take more time with yourself and take more time with others, and don't jump into things necessarily, especially around communication and around relationships. Give it a little bit of time, okay? Leave me a comment and let me know of anything that's coming up for you around relationships or communication and what you are noticing. Let's get into our soul questions for this new moon. So what I want to invite you to do is just to take a couple of deep breaths. Closing your eyes is super useful. Putting your hand on your heart and taking some deep breaths through your heart, and just really dropping down, bringing that mind into the heart. You can always pause this and take a little bit more time to do that. And then just tune in. What are you being called to call in during this lunar cycle? What is it that your heart is calling you to build that's going to be long lasting, that's going to bring you the joy, the contentment that your heart so desires for you? And just take some time with that and maybe just do a stream of consciousness. Just listen to that for yourself. And I'd love to hear from you what's coming up for you. What is it that your heart is really calling you to on this new moon to focus on over the next 29 and a half days that's really in alignment with your soul? I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you tuning in today. Go ahead and give this a like, give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, I invite you to. I put out weekly videos, and you might want to watch my new video that you'll see here, and then also any of my past updates. And June is coming up real soon, and I'll be bringing you that update as well. All right, so much love to you.